Hey there, you're watching DeProgram with Ted Rall and John Kiriakou. It's Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. Good morning, John.
Good morning. How are you, Ted?
I'm good, staying warm and enjoying it. So we got a lot going on. And by the way, please follow, and share the show. A little bit of housekeeping. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can stream us anytime, of course, on YouTube or Rumble. And if you're interested in donating, just got a question in the YouTube chat about that. If you're in the YouTube chat, you hit that $sign, and that allows you to do a super chat, which allows you to donate and make a comment at the same time if you're so moved. You can also donate through PayPal. I'll put that up right now. It's the PayPal email address is dprogrampodcast@gmail.com. dprogrampodcast@gmail.com. That was so just a response to that question. And thanks for your generosity. We will be back to Robbie Aid at the beginning of the year, January 1st, but thanks again for raising that $1,000 that we need every month to keep Robbie on board as our producer. We are, John and I, we're going to be doing more call-ins because you guys seemed to enjoy that last Friday. So we're going to do later in the month. I'm not sure about the exact dates, but TMI show is going to go on vacation. But we're going to step into the breach here on DeProgram and extend the show. We're going to go basically do the regular hour and then do the second hour, which would have been the TMI show in the 10 o'clock Eastern time for the call-ins through the Discord server. And producer Robbie will come in and talk about the new and improved Discord in a little bit, maybe like right around the time when we do the ads. So stay tuned for that. Okay, John, it's like never a dull moment ever.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Trump is declaring that the Venezuelan government, not the fake Cartel de las Solas, is a terrorist organization. He's imposing a naval blockade of sanctioned oil tankers,
which in and of itself is an internationally recognized act of war.
Amazing. Yeah, that's going to be good times when a Chinese oil tanker shows up there to pick up some crude.
It's as though like nobody understands it, including Trump, that by announcing a naval blockade, you have declared war on Venezuela.
I always wonder if there's anyone in the room who sets him straight. And speaking of which, we would be absolutely committing a journalistic malpractice if we don't talk about Susie Wiles' interview for Vanity Fair. Hegseth, not surprisingly, is deciding to cover up that video of the double tap boat strike. What's he hiding? And now citizens of 35 nations are now officially restricted. In other words, they are either not able to travel to the United States at all, or they have to jump through a bunch of hoops that they didn't previously have to jump through. 5 nationalities are banned entirely now. Mm-hmm. And I'm very curious. Maybe there's nothing here, but a prominent Portuguese American nuclear physics professor and scientist was shot to death at his home in the otherwise nice, calm neighborhood of Brookline, outside of Boston, bordering Boston, Massachusetts. He's an MIT professor. So what's going on there? So let's get to it. What do you want to do first?
We really should start with Venezuela. This is far more serious than I think most people recognize. It's an act of war, a naval blockade. It legally allows the Venezuelans to respond were they so inclined
or able.
Or able. I don't think they have a navy. Is that what it is? There's no navy, and there's no navy. There's no air force to speak of. They do have an army.
Yeah.
But it's mostly on the border with Colombia. So they're not really going to be...
They kind of have a Fedayeen type situation.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, they do. But remember, this country is the size of France, Germany, and Austria combined, and it's heavily jungle.
That's worth remembering because because it looks smaller on the Mercator projection.
Yes,
but it's big.
It's big. It's big. And so, I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park like apparently the White House does. I think this is very, very dangerous. Well, let me add one thing. I don't understand the point of it. Venezuela, I mean, we can say, oh, Venezuela, drugs, Venezuela, terrorism. Just because you say it doesn't make it so. Venezuela is not a threat to us. Venezuela is not a major drug, middle point of
No.
the United States. MC23 June is correct that Venezuela is backed by China. So what are we doing here? Have we engaged the Chinese on this? I mean, normally that's what we would do were we to go to war with a country. I just don't see what the point is. And then declaring Venezuela a terrorist country kind of is a mockery of the whole terrorism designation process.
Right. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia is not. Right?
Exactly.
But so I mean, the thing is, you're right, there's a lot to unpack here. I mean, for me, the first thing I went to, you and I have both been to Cuba, and so correct me if I'm wrong, but my impression was that what they call El Blocado is the number one thing keeping the Cuban government afloat and getting political support in Cuba, right? I mean, like literally, the U.S. has had these sanctions, which they kind of call the blockade, going on since the 60s. Obviously, they're completely ineffectual, but the government uses them in state media and everything to rally the people against the U.S. as the outside enemy. Meanwhile, it's not working. All the Europeans are investing heavily in Cuba. You can stay in French-owned beach resorts, and I mean, it's not at all like they're cut off from the world. They're just cut off from the nearest country that should have a good relationship with them.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, but I think about Venezuela. They have close political and ideological and historic ties to Cuba.
Yes.
And so when they hear blocado in a Venezuelan media report, they think of their Cuban brothers, right?
Yes.
And they think, what do they think? They think it's a big fuck you to Venezuela. The whole idea of sanctions is, right, we impose sanctions, we make you miserable, and then you overthrow your government, and then we're friends. Okay, but that's not how it goes.
No.
What really happens is, you're miserable. Who's making me miserable? Not my government. You are. U.S. is making me miserable. So it doesn't work. And then also the other thing I think of is the Venezuelan people look at the Cubans and they're like, well, it hasn't slowed the Cubans down any. I mean, they've resisted successfully for years.
Or the Iranians.
Right.
The Iranian economy is robust. As I've said before, they lack for nothing.
Right.
So sanctions.
Having been to Iran, I did not find, there was no one's going hungry, So so the whole thing is like, I mean, it's a fiasco, right? So obviously, my take here is that Trump covets the oil, and he thinks he can get the oil. He can turn Venezuela into a colony, and basically get free oil for the U.S. economy. I think it's basically that. And the last time I heard of a leader doing a grab for oil like that was Hitler making a dash for the oil fields of Baku, Azerbaijan, in World War II, and that's why he invaded the Soviet Union, and it didn't go well.
No.
So I'm just, it seems like utter madness to me. And I just wonder if there's anyone in the room who's speaking up about it.
This is genuinely frightening for me. For a long time, I just thought this was, talk in order to so frighten Maduro that he would just run away. This is different today. Declaring them a terrorist country is one thing. It's just kind of, not smart. But the other thing, an entirely different thing, is a naval blockade. So what happens then? What happens if the Chinese send a ship? We're going to attack the Chinese?
Well, the Chinese probably won't send a ship, right? Because they're not looking for a military confrontation with the
They're
West.
not, but what if the Venezuelans ask them? What if the Venezuelans ask them publicly? That would be...
Or what if the Russians send a ship?
Or if the Russians send a ship.
More of a concern.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're not going to want to be seen as weak or backing down.
Yeah.
I mean, also I think of World War II, right? I mean, Pearl Harbor is always sold to American school children as a completely unprovoked act of aggression. But the truth is the Japanese viewed it as they thought they were defending themselves from an allied naval blockade, a U.S.-led naval blockade that was depriving them from oil, which they needed for their industries. They thought that, they could basically swat us on the nose like a dog with a newspaper, and that we would like fuck off. They didn't think we'd care that much about Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
It was a cultural misunderstanding, because from their point of view, Pearl Harbor was in Hawaii. Hawaii was a colony. It wasn't a state. And, we basically didn't care that we wouldn't care that much. It was so far away from the mainland. I mean, they misunderstood, right?
Man.
To say the least.
And, Romero Oscar, which I assume is Oscar Romero. Oscar, thanks for pointing this out. He says, John, you don't understand people. You wouldn't believe how people around here feel. They will never look any of this stuff up. They believe everything he says. That's America. He's right. That's America. Yeah. This is an ongoing problem. It's always been a problem. Yeah,
it's huge. Right. It's a huge problem. Some questions here, not related to this necessarily, but Quadruple J XYZ. Have you guys read Stephen Kotkin's biography on Stalin? Wondering if it's worth diving into. I have.
I have not, but several different people independently of one another have recommended it to me.
It's not like, so we live in a golden age of a historical biography. They're so well written now. That used to not be an expectation when we were kids, right?
Yes.
You just had to have the facts down there, and that was good enough. So I'm going to say Kotkin's book is not like it's not a beautiful read like Caro, but it's good enough. And it's a subject that never really gets a fair treatment. My only complaint is there still isn't. There's God, who wrote the Stalin, the Court of the Red Tsar, that one. The problem is that nobody really just sort of does a biography of Stalin without editorializing, and it bugs me. It's like, oh, he was a bad man, blah 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 blah. Stop. Just tell me about Stalin.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for the $20, Waterways.
Thank you, Waterways.
Thank you thank you very much. Okay, so let's see. Okay, question, Nicholas Frankos. John, during your time at the CIA, did you ever have to work with Turkish intelligence or come across them? That's a good question. And if yes, what did you think of them?
One time in 1993, I had to fly to Ankara, which is an absolutely awful place. And I went in the wintertime. So everybody's burning coal. The smog just chokes you. So I went one time to talk to them about Iraq in the winter of 93. And I'm saying this not because I'm a Greek American or because I'm a Greek citizen. I'm just saying it as a former CIA officer with access to them. They were not a good service. They were not. They're a good regional service, especially as it relates to Iraq and Syria. They're obsessed.
They know the neighborhood.
Yeah, they're obsessed with Greece, and they spend a great deal of time, effort, and money spying on Greece, a NATO ally.
What a waste of time, though.
Yeah, complete waste. But I was not at all impressed with.
Do you think it'll ever
Turks.
be possible to establish détente between Greece and Turkey?
I think that if the Greeks could make that decision, it would be done tomorrow.
So the Greeks are the ones who are holding the grudge.
No. What I mean was, if the Greeks decided we want peace with Turkey and they could effect it, they would do that right away.
Oh,
it's the Turks that don't want. They don't want détente with Greece. The Turks are expansionist.
Mm-hmm.
They're still angry over these various early 20th century treaties that set the borders where they are. They want the Aegean Islands. They want part of the Greek continental landmass. They want all of Cyprus, or at the very least, they want their occupied part of Cyprus to be an independent, internationally recognized country. They just can't live within the community of nations. They just can't do it.
And yet, Turkey's vast.
Vast, yeah.
It's strange.
Vast.
Manya, thanks for the compliment. I'm a simple man. I see DeProgram show. I press like.
Thank you.
That's what we like. Fluidic Poly, do we think the Soviet Union was the good guy in the Cold War for supporting anti-apartheid and Palestine and fighting radical Islamists in Afghanistan? Well, for those things, yes. 100%. I mean, who can say that Afghanistan wasn't better off under Soviet influence when Afghan women were wearing miniskirts and everyone was listening to music and drinking sweet wine? I mean, who can say that with women in the government, in the cabinet? I mean, who can say that the apartheid struggle and anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa would have been nearly as effective without Soviet support? When Mandela was inaugurated, he had Soviet flags in the background, and Westerners were shocked by that. It's like, well, the U.S. was anti-Mandela, right? Yeah. We don't like to talk about that now.
Strongly anti-Mandela.
Yeah. And the apartheid regime's best friend was our best friend, the Israelis.
That's right.
And they supplied, the radioactive material too. So, I mean, I think, and certainly for, the Soviet Union was on the side of the angels in Palestine, but overall, was the Soviet Union on the side of the angels? I mean, that's a far more complicated question.
It's not an easy question to answer.
We could do an hour on that, the legacy of the Soviet Union. I mean, I have to say, I think I agree with Putin, but not for the reason that he says that, like, the collapse of the Soviet Union was the biggest disaster of the 20th century. It fucked us, because the USSR's existence kept the US honest, like in the international marketplace of ideas. We had something that basically kept us honest. Like, oh, look, there's an entire other ideology and way of thinking that is our opponent and that might be more appealing than what we have to offer. And then poof, 1991, Francis Fukuyama, end of history. And suddenly it's like, oh, we won. Obviously we were right about everything. We don't have to change a thing. We don't have to do any better. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yep. I sure do.
Nicholas,
it should be so easy.
Francos, again, pro-Russian leaders that have oil are going to go down there. Is that a pattern for Syria and now Venezuela? It's a pattern.
Yeah, I think it is a pattern.
FUSO, thanks for the money. Does this mean that there will be new Rambo propaganda movie set in Venezuela?
Probably.
Sly's still alive and looking good.
He looks better than any 70-year-old man I've ever seen.
It's like my favorite. I don't remember if it was Rambo First Blood or Rambo 1 or Rambo 2, but there's one scene in one of the Rambo movies that never, even thinking about it, makes me crack up laughing, where he's hiding he's covered himself with mud and he's hiding like in a mud pile, and suddenly his eyes open in the mud. The mud just whoop, and there's Stallone's eyes. I don't know why it's so droll, but
yes, indeed.
Let's see. FUSO also thanks for more money. In America, a person can be smart, but people are stupid. Okay. Polar Plunger, Turkish exclusive economic zone claims are maximalist, to say the least. Can you explain what that is? What are Turkish exclusive economic zone claims? I don't know.
These doggone Turks, listen, oh my God, this drives me crazy. This is an important issue. These Turks will claim, the international exclusive economic zone is something like 20 miles off your coast, right? So if you've got, let's say, oil within 20 miles of your coast, it's your oil.
Okay.
Well, the Turks claim 200 miles, which includes like all of the Aegean Islands, which are all Greek. And they've also got this deal that, as of yesterday, looks like it might be starting to fall apart. This deal with the Libyans, where the Libyan claim and the Turkish claim meet, but it includes almost all of Greek waters. So the Turks have talked the Libyans into making a similar claim. It can't hold up in an international court. But the Turks just essentially want to steal everybody's natural resources. Now, this is especially important in Cyprus, because Cyprus, over the last, 7 years, they have found this ocean of natural gas that stretches all the way to Gaza and to Lebanon and halfway to Egypt. And so the Cypriots, the Greeks, the Egyptians, and the Israelis are working now to lift the oil, but the Turks sent battleships off the coast of Cyprus to stop all of them from doing it, because the Turks want that gas, or they want part of it. Well, then the French are no friends of the Turks. The French sent a battleship saying, screw you guys, leave these little countries alone. This is their gas, and they're gonna lift it. So now there's a Turkish battleship, there's a French battleship, and there are all these Greek, Israeli, Egyptian, and Cypriot exploration ships. And
Jesus,
they're in a
showdown.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, well, this is, by the way, just parenthetically, why peak oil is bullshit. And I never want to hear anyone talk about peak oil again. They are constantly finding new sources of oil and gas, especially now with climate change. We have access to the poles that under the polar ice cap that we didn't used to. They can drill much deeper than they used to be able to. So, I mean, unfortunately, the whole we on the left don't have to do anything, the whole system will collapse because of peak oil. No, lefties be having to do some grassroots organizing if you want to overthrow the system. It's not going to fall apart by itself. John, I got to ask you.
Yeah.
This nuclear physicist at MIT.
Yeah, what the heck?
So he's a Portuguese guy.
Uh-huh.
He's 47 years old. He's in his house in Brookline, which is it borders Boston.
Very nice.
It's a very pretty area. Lots of, it's definitely safe, no question. Yep. Even though it's definitely attached, by mass transit to Boston, to
the Kennedys live there. Mike Dukakis lives there. All of Boston's wealthiest business people live there. It's really a great place.
Yeah, it's nice. And I would definitely want to live there if I lived in Boston. So anyway, he's killed in his own home. My first thought was nuclear physicist being whacked. I think of, one of the stories you've told here on the show about similar things happening that involved espionage. Is it possible that this is something, sure, it could be anything, right? It could just be a street crime.
Sure.
It could be, a romantic thing. Who knows, right? But when I hear nuclear physicist, MIT, and where my ears perked up was the fact that he used to work for the Brits.
Yeah.
So is it possible that some kind of intelligence agency is involved in this?
Absolutely, yes.
Wow.
And that was the first thing that came to my mind was, look, we know who goes around the world murdering nuclear scientists. Okay, the Israelis do it all the time. I'm not saying the Israelis did this. I have no idea who did this, but I'm saying that there is a pattern of behavior that we have seen over the last 40 years where Israeli intelligence officers go around the world and they murder nuclear scientists who are working for countries that the Israelis don't want to have a nuclear weapon, or these are scientists who won't work with the Israelis.
I'm thinking more part two.
Yeah.
Just refuse, we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Oh, you refused it. Sorry, bye.
Done. Mm-hmm.
So, especially, would the thinking for the Israelis theoretically be if they attempt to recruit a scientist and he says no, would the concern be well, if he said no, he might blab to the press or someone else. Better to shoot him so he shuts the fuck up.
Sure. Absolutely.
So it's a silence, just nothing, just a silence guarantee.
Yeah. And whoever the shooter was, the shooter meant business. He shot him at least 3 times, apparently to the head.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that this professor was working on something called magnetized plasma dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
He was an award-winning researcher in this area. Magnetized plasma dynamics is the study of the state of matter in which the motion of charged particles is influenced by the presence of an external magnetic field.
Yeah. So this is what this is like post quantum mechanics, right?
Yes, and exactly. That's exactly what it is.
And it's basically this is really key to the next level of energy and AI type stuff. It's what they call spooky physics, right?
Yeah, spooky physics. That's a good way to say it.
It's really cool. And obviously cutting edge shit. And any country would love to have a guy like that working for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just sick.
So he's Portuguese.
He's Portuguese. Yeah.
What do you make of that? Is Portugal a major player in espionage?
No, it's not. It never has been.
Mm-hmm.
The Portuguese get along with everybody.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think that it's not. I think this is not directly related to the fact that he was Portuguese so much as it was related to the fact that he was doing advanced nuclear related science.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unless it turns out to be something personal, right?
It could be, yeah. It could be, it could be a, love triangle, or
it doesn't sound
a robbery gone wrong, or
I don't think it's a robbery.
It doesn't sound like a robbery. Nothing was stolen.
Right. And the kind of guy who gets away clean after, 3 shots to the head and doesn't take anything.
Yeah, that's right. And
they just wanted him dead.
I agree. And Alexander, the great drummer, I will actually admit that an English breakfast is better than an American breakfast. Yes, although it's better. It's just better.
Really? Okay, you're gonna have to put up on that one. First of all, beans for breakfast? No.
Oh yeah. Beans and toast, absolutely. The only thing I won't eat is the black pudding. I tried it once, I hated it. It's not for me.
In terms of meat, breakfast meats, nothing beats a Southern American, bacon sausage patty. Sorry, nothing beats that. Nothing beats a Vermont strip bacon.
Nothing. Well, that actually is very good.
And nothing beats, in my opinion, like a really good challah French toast, soaked deep, like lots of powdered sugar. The Brits can't compare. To me, British breakfast is just like the least bad of the 3 meals of the day in the UK.
Oh, I like it a lot.
Oh, well.
And you know what's funny? In the Greek islands, in the summertime, every single restaurant has a board outside advertising their English breakfast. Everyone. Because the Greeks will have a little bit of yogurt, some coffee, some bread, maybe some olives, tomatoes, and feta cheese, and maybe cucumber.
It's a clean breakfast, but it's not filling, really.
No, it's not filling.
Matina went to Samos this summer, and they're pushing, I guess the Turks are pushing the borders so our fishermen can't fish in their waters.
That's exactly right. And, again, here's John spouting off, but that's an act of war. You can't constantly enter another country's waters and then say, what are you going to do about it?
No, of course, it's the most basic act of war, right?
Yeah.
Like saying your land is my land or your waters are my
waters.
MT16, thanks for the $20. Hi from Mike in Nottingham. John, my sister loved Rhodes so much she's going back. Only this time she's staying in Simi.
Wonderful.
And have you been clubbing in Faliraki?
You know what?
Apparently it's amazing.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to say. First of all, Simi's awesome. My cousin Kay is from Simi. Simi it's a little teeny tiny island right off the coast of Rhodes. It's got one village on it, but it's glorious. It's known for its beautiful cathedral that's there. You could fit practically the entire population of the island inside the cathedral. But it's just beautiful, wonderful place. Faliraki is on the east coast of Rhodes. It used to be a sleepy little fishing village, and now it is like nightlife central with, all night long. And tens of thousands of Brits getting drunk and beating the hell out of each other.
Just kill me. I do not. I hate that
It's
shit.
not my scene, but I used to go there before it was a British destination, and it was glorious. I will say, though, that every few years there's a murder in Greece. I'm sorry, in Rhodes. It's rare, but every 3-4 years there's a murder, and it's always a Brit beating another Brit to death in one of the clubs in Faliraki.
Robbie has a question.
Yeah.
It's a good one. If the U.S. does this in South America, couldn't Russia then start fighting a real war in Ukraine to apply pressure to the U.S. and NATO?
That's exactly what I would expect to happen, yes.
That would be... Yeah, it's very escalative. I mean, that's the thing, right? That the U.S. has done this thing where we want to overthrow the government of Venezuela. Unfortunately, we've boxed Maduro into a corner. he can't leave because of the thing you brought up a couple of times, John, that, that now Maduro is aware of the fact that we can't be trusted and we wouldn't really cut a deal to let him go. And so now he's not going anywhere and we keep escalating. But our escalation is not going to make any difference. Our escalation is not going to change his calculus here.
No.
I mean, it can't. It's just escalation. And then, the thing about escalation is you have to make good at a certain point.
See, and that's the thing. It's a natural, normal thing for superpowers to act when they see that the other superpower is distracted.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were the Russians, I would be all for
a good time.
Oh yeah, this is good. It's good to be Russian right now.
And the Chinese, who knows, not something military.
They care less.
But if the Chinese wanted to put a little pressure, if I were the Chinese, I'd be like, this would be a good time to slap the Japanese around a little bit to put them back in their place.
Yeah.
So let's talk about travel restrictions. Susie Wiles, Hegseth. What do you want to talk about?
Susie Wiles. Susie Wiles is known around Washington for keeping her cards close to her vest. She generally doesn't give interviews. She's very quiet. Donald Trump called her one of the most powerful women in the world, which she is. Most Americans have never heard of her, but of course she's the White House chief of staff. Vanity Fair is kind of one of those gold standards of interview outlets, right?
Sure.
And I will add, I just gave an interview to Vanity Fair. It's going to come out soon. It's about Rudy Giuliani coming out soon. And my God, they're thorough. They talked to 3 of my attorneys, 4 of my attorneys. Anyway.
Wow.
What would possess Susie Wiles to compare Donald Trump to an alcoholic, knowing that his brother died of alcoholism and that he is an absolute teetotaler? I don't know what was going through the woman's head.
Well, the term dry drunk is what I thought of, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an old-fashioned term.
Yeah.
But basically the idea was that, it's just someone who they don't drink, but they would drink and they have that kind of compulsive personality. I mean, Trump's been very open about that about the huge tragedy of the death of his brother and how it's like just absolutely terrified him into not, basically he's just like, I'm never going to drink because I saw what happened to my brother. And by all accounts, that's true. And Trump also has kind of fessed up to having a compulsive personality. John, to me, the thing that, you don't diss the boss, of course, ever. But I guess the other thing is, John, there were 11 interviews here. She met with the reporter 11 times.
This wasn't an accidental offhanded comment.
No, it's not like someone ran into her at a bar and just started chatting her up. And then this was, there's so many questions, right? Did she get permission from the White House to meet with Vanity Fair?
Well, that's the thing is, she's the one that gives the permission for other people. So who would it be that would give her permission? Did she
have to go to the president?
Exactly.
And then of course, like, if so, did she ask for guidance about like, oh, how should I handle this interview? And then like, what would be benefit? And then, she talked shit about a lot of staffers and stuff. The one that stood out for me was JD. So she basically said JD Vance is an opportunist and, can't be trusted. His politics are basically, he's just flipped just because it was like convenient for him, doesn't believe in anything, and that he's a conspiracy theorist. Now, this is the sitting vice president, the leading contender for Republican nomination for president in 2028. He could be president next week if the president drops dead, and therefore he would be her boss. I mean, JD can't be pleased.
I wouldn't be if I were JD Vance.
So then who gave her permission? What was she thinking? And how come all of MAGA world has circled the wagons around her? And they've all said like, oh, it's fake news. She was quoted out of context. She said all of it. It's all recorded. If she didn't say it, she could sue for defamation, and it would be a monster lawsuit.
Like Donald Trump's $10 billion lawsuit against the BBC.
For example. right? I mean, as I know, it's like when I was, I didn't want to sue the LA Times. I knew that I was going to get my ass kicked by their deep pocketed lawyers. But, I remember talking to a bunch of people. I talked to Greg Palast, and he goes, dude, you have to sue. It's like that way you prove to everyone that you're telling the truth, because you're exposing yourself to, cross-examination and discovery and all that. And I'm like, well, I am telling the truth. And he's like, so you got to fight. And it's like, and he, I knew he was right.
Yeah.
That's how this is. If it's not true, Susie's got to sue. And it's not like, not like her boss would have a problem with it. Mm-hmm. It's true. She said it all. I mean, and sure, she could be quoted out, they leave stuff out. Sure. But she said those things. They didn't make that up.
No, she said it.
So how come? Why are they? Is she such a good chief? Is she such a good chief of staff that Trump just won't let her go, and that's why they're keeping her?
I think. Or
is she so? I mean, she has got a good reputation. Or is it just because Trump never wants to fire anyone lest he look weak?
Oh no, I think he fires lots and lots of people.
But but he likes to fire them because of his reasons, not because of external pressure.
Oh, sure. No, I think that she's safe. And I think she's safe because he came out yesterday and said she's wonderful, she's the best, she's powerful, she's loyal, she's this, she's that. She's not going anywhere. I think that this is going to be one of those little, one-day stories, and it's going to go away. Because if he were bothered by these revelations, he would have tweeted something yesterday.
Oh, traitor.
Something. Yeah, right. Something. And he didn't.
Like,
he just expressed support. And so I think she's okay. And I do think, listen, if you read the comment in context, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Agreed.
She probably could have used better terminology than to call him, alcoholic-like. But I understood what she meant when I read it in context.
Me too. I mean, she just doesn't seem. I mean, like, here's the thing: like, a chief of staff is a behind-the-scenes gatekeeper to the president, right? And you get to decide who goes in now. It's like necessary. They tend to be the effective ones. Tend to be assholes.
Yeah.
Like David Gergen.
That's right.
Rahm Emanuel, people like that. So what makes you a good chief of staff might not make you a good someone who should be interviewed by, a top tier magazine like Vanity Fair.
That's right.
So why did she agree? Why did she give these 11 interviews? What would be the advantage to her or to the administration?
I honestly have no idea. It's not like she's going to resign and run for public office. So why would she give such an interview, knowing that Vanity Fair has long been hostile to Donald Trump?
Of course, it was like psychotically. They have TDS like crazy.
It was Graydon Carter, and Graydon Carter is not the editor in chief anymore. But it was Graydon Carter that started the whole tiny hands thing.
Yep.
In the 2016 primaries.
Yeah, and with under Graydon Carter, there was kind of a droll, Manhattan snobbery aspect to the Trump bashing. Post Graydon Carter, it's literally it's like hysterical Trump bashing. Like, he's the worst, most satanic, diabolical, fiendish, Hitler-like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, again, like it's not a friendly interview. You got to know that.
No, not a friendly interview. No way. You're right.
I mean,
I don't get it.
It's gobsmacking. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Robbie, we would love to have that ad, please. All right. So let's see some more. Let's do some comments. Matina, fuck the Turks. Oh yeah. So Roguebot MD weren't the UK and the Soviet Union killing each other's radar scientists?
Oh, gee, I don't know that.
I had not heard that.
In the Second World War, after the Second World War?
I guess. I don't know.
I
guess after. They were allies during the war.
Yeah.
All right, let's read this ad. Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. Bold beans. Am I missing something? Yeah, I am. A gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. And a black 1775 tumbler. $170 worth of coffee and gear. Yours for $99. It's for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. You can tell I've had coffee this morning. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. I think that might be the fastest I've ever read that. Sorry, my apologies to the listener who complained about that. Exile the Knights of Malta now. John, clearly you have to write a book called The Anglo-Greek Church of Lono and get Ted to illustrate it.
Oh my God, I'm up to my eyeballs in books. So I mentioned to you, I mentioned many times, I've got the one coming out on the 24th of March, Remains of the Day, a definitive guide to Washington, D.C.'s historic cemeteries. Then I've already sent in Whispers in the Dirt, a definitive guide to New York City's mafia graves. And I just came up with the title for my next one. I only have 2 pages. You got to start somewhere.
I'm going to call you for titles, John, because I'm always rough. I always have trouble with titles. Go ahead.
I came up with Beneath the Quiet Earth, a guide to the graves of America's serial killers. Beneath the Quiet Earth.
That's very poetic.
Thank you.
When you were recruited at the CIA, did they say we're looking for an officer who's poetic? And
you know what? I got an award once with no money. It was an internal office award for best title. I did a long-term study. This thing was like 100 pages long, but I did a long-term study on the Iraqi Diplomatic Corps, and it was called Iraq's Ambassador Corps: Diplomats, Assassins, and Spies, which is what they all were. There were like 5 who were actual diplomats, and the rest were all hitmen for Saddam's Takriti clan, and the others were Iraqi intelligence officers who, if they got too good at their job, he would make them ambassador to the Philippines or something, just so that they weren't close enough to kill him.
I love paranoid guys like that. All right. Well, we probably should talk about Hegseth. So it comes as no surprise that he's, look, he claims that he was considering releasing it. And then, of course, he says, of course, we're not going to release a top secret video. Well, you posted the top part of the top secret video to the internet to brag about it, right? I mean, you've been doing this over and over and over. So I don't think intelligence is really, you tell me, is there any possible, giving Hegseth credit for possibly telling the truth, something I don't like to do to government officials, but is it possible that there's a legitimate intelligence reason a security reason not to release that video?
No, we know what the video is already. We know that it's the initial strike and then the double tap. We know it.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's protecting sources and methods. He's already bragged about the sources and methods.
Right.
So if you are so proud of your handiwork, just release it.
So, I mean, my take on this is like the Epstein files. Maybe not as much, but people, covering it up is going to make it worse. It's a zit that's going to keep growing until it blows up right on your right in the middle of your hot date.
That's right.
I mean, it's not going to be good.
That is right.
So, I mean, and it makes you imagine, like, oh, maybe it's even worse than I can imagine, right? I mean, your mind runs wild. Better to release it, I would say, Friday afternoon media dump.
Exactly.
Holiday weekend, Christmas Eve. Yes.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
I don't understand. I mean, what do you think the thinking here is? Just it's reflexive. It makes us look bad. Better not to do it. That it's
I
just
think
simplistic.
he giddily released part of it when he was so proud of what he had done, and then people close to him said, "Dude, that's a war crime. You've committed a war crime, and you are bragging that you're a murderer." And then he says, "Oh, on second thought, shoot, yeah, you're right. I murdered these guys in cold blood, and so I probably shouldn't brag about it. So now it's all about sources and methods and protecting them." So yeah, that's what I
But
think
John,
it is.
they're all murders, right? I mean, they're not identified. Right there, they're not identified. We don't know who they are, what they're doing, right? We don't even know
Right.
we don't even know what nationalities all these guys are.
Right.
So basically, we see a boat. It fits some sort of profile, signature strike.
Mhm.
Blow them up. These are all. I mean, there's something really bizarre. It's sort of like what? It's not sporting to blow. It's okay to just kill you, like when you're fishing, but
Right.
like if you blow, but if you survive, it's not sporting to finish you off
Right.
before a shark gets you. I mean,
I mean, the law is the law.
Queensboro roll. Sorry, go ahead.
The law is the law. Right. Either we're gonna follow the law or we're not. But you can't like force everybody else to follow it and you just do whatever you want. You can't have it both ways.
It's just
And
that this is so obvious, right? It's just
yeah,
that like there's no denying that it's murder because
yeah,
it's just
that's right.
two helpless schlumps in the middle of a giant ocean hanging on to
That's
scraps
right.
of wood.
That's right.
So
Can't do that.
it's like it violates the Queensberry rules. It isn't nice.
Yeah.
It's like,
Matina says, why aren't they just saying it's CIA and it's top secret? Because they bragged already that it wasn't CIA, that it was them. It was SEAL Team 6. So the cat's out of the bag.
oh, so we have some. Oh, so I apologize a little bit. We have some super chats that we didn't get to here over on the YouTube. Eric F. No wars but class war. Thanks for the $2. Alexander the Great. Okay, you already answered that one about the breakfast. Totally disagree. Most disagreement we'll ever have. Morrow, thanks for the $10. Zionists on X, such as Laura Loomer, are claiming that Nuno was a Jewish scientist. That's how you know it's an Israeli op. I'm Portuguese, so as soon as I saw his name, I knew he was Portuguese. I knew he was Portuguese because he had 4 names.
That very well could be it. I wouldn't put anything against past the Israelis. I wouldn't.
By the way,
do anything that they want.
Morrow says that on YouTube there's some sort of censorship. Morrow tried to put in an Israeli flag in the chat.
No, he tried to write Israel, and it wouldn't allow the comment.
Oh, so Morrow did the flag instead.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Well, thanks for the $4.99. Okay, so Kirplopus, if Trump's in Venezuela for free oil, which by the way we would never get.
No.
By the way, if you want free oil, just move
crime.
to Venezuela because gas is basically free there.
It's free.
Where does this pit U.S. frackers versus this cheap stuff? Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a good question because gas or oil has to be at least $68 a barrel for fracking to be cost effective. That's why the frackers all shut down when the price of oil.
And you're from Fracking Central, Pennsylvania.
Fracking Central. What my best friend from high school called me in this state of excitement one time that a fracking company rang his doorbell and offered him $5,000 to put an oil derrick thing in his backyard. He had 2 acres, and he did it. I was like, Gary,
$5,000.
$5,000. They're going to make $1 million taking your.
Not to mention your house. You're going to feel like you're on top of the San Andreas Fault.
Yeah,
and there's going to be flames shooting out of your water faucet. That actually happened.
I remember even my dad saying to me one time, we may be sitting on a gold mine here. And I said, Dad, don't you dare let them drill for oil in our yard. And he didn't.
It's a tin mine. It's more like it's a plastic mine. Yeah, $5,000. I mean, look, everything's got a price, but $5,000 is not the price. Um, let's talk. Should we talk about the travel restrictions? I thought this was interesting. So yesterday, Trump added 20 more countries to the list of travel restrictions. So currently, 5 countries are blocked completely from having their nationals enter the United States. So no one from Syria, which, by the way, I thought was our new buddy, South Sudan, Niger, Mali, or Burkina Faso. Obviously, the last 3 all being countries that recently were kicked out the French troops, and also for anybody with a Palestinian Authority passport. So basically, kind of like 5.5 countries. And so basically, now I also don't understand why we also blocked. We have partial travel bans on Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Like including for people who have Afghan special immigrant visas. These are people who worked for the United States during the U.S. occupation. So, I mean, you're literally blocking the people who like worked for us. And so other countries with partial restrictions are Angola, Antigua and Barbuda, Benin, Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire, Dominica, Gabon, Gambia, Malawi, Mauritania, Nigeria, Senegal, Tanzania, Tonga, Zambia, and Zimbabwe.
In some of those countries, you're like, what? Why? Tonga?
Yeah. What do they do?
We do not have a problem with Tonga. We don't. And, you know, I would appreciate it, Ted, if you would ask Manila, Laos, after the way we've screwed those people
no
over
doubt.
the years.
Yeah, our mines are still, and unexploded ordnance are still killing Laotians.
Yes. I just don't understand some of these countries. Now, Mauritania, Mali, okay, you know.
Yeah, they have Islamism issues.
They have a problem. Nigeria, sure, there are a lot of scammers from Nigeria, but Nigerians make up, you know, a good part of the hardest workers of our biggest cities. So
I mean,
I don't know.
Look, as someone, you and I like to travel.
Yeah,
I'm like really worried about you know, since visas are bilateral.
Yes,
they can do it to us. So if like, as journalists who want to go to Niger or something, they're like, okay, well, you know, now you're the one who's going to have to bend over and squat. I mean,
exactly.
It's not good.
And tell me something. Why do you think there are so many African countries on this list that are not a problem for us?
I see it as a racist dog whistle to the far right.
That's what I was going to say.
And you know, I don't go to the woke place. Like that's not my first go-to, but I can't think of another explanation.
Why isn't Kyrgyzstan on the list or Tajikistan or Uzbekistan?
Yeah, those both have radical Islamist issues.
You bet they do.
Yeah. What used to be called the IMU is still an issue.
That's right.
Yeah, no, that's true. There's a lot of stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I think they, you know, it appears in the press and MAGA world goes, good, they're keeping the darkies out. Mm-hmm. I really do think that's it. Tiffer, 1989. This one's for me, but John, obviously, chime in. What are your thoughts on pacifist countries? Are they freeloaders who exploit their allies to keep them safe? Or do they hold the moral high ground by not sending their citizens into wars? Kind of neither.
Yeah, I agree. Neither.
I think they're just people. I think they're people who just think that militarism is a waste of money.
Yeah,
and they think that there's better priorities. You know, they're not. It's not like they're thinking like, we're pulling one over on the Americans or NATO. They'll watch our back. It's not like that.
No,
and it's also not like, look at us, we're so much better. We refuse to get dirty our hands with bloodshed. I think they just literally think, let's get real. No one's going to invade us. Like, we're fine. And if that changes, we can revisit. But let's spend our money on schools and shit. I think that's what they really are thinking.
I agree with you. I don't think it's the either or that's been presented in the question. If you look at a country like Costa Rica, let's say, that doesn't have a military, it's because it doesn't have any natural enemies. It doesn't need a military. It has a national police force.
Yeah.
But there's no military. Look at Iceland. Iceland has no enemies.
Right.
It technically joined the political structure of NATO, and it allows, there used to be an American base there that no longer exists. So NATO planes are free to come and go, or to stay, or whatever they want. But there's no military. They don't need a military.
Right.
So I think it's the luck of geography in some cases, and it's the luck of just having neighbors that you don't have a serious problem with.
John, we have similar geography ourselves.
We do, actually. We do.
I mean, we're literally like, two vast oceans, our two main borders with friendly allied countries.
Yeah.
We could really almost do without a military.
Yep.
I mean, we could do with 5% of our military.
Yes,
we'd be fine.
Could. Yes, we could.
John, I looked this up for my last book, What's Left. Brazil only spends $20 billion a year on its military. Wow. And its borders are about the same size as ours, but they border a lot more countries, and they have border disputes with some of them. They don't get along with all of them. Mm-hmm. And they're fine. No one's invading Brazil.
Yeah, that's right. So this is a choice that we've made.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, it's a business. It's like, I really do like him. He's one of my favorite presidents, but this is Teddy Roosevelt's fault.
It is. He's
like, there's a new book out. I just, I came across the other day. I don't know if it's any good, but it's apparently about, Teddy Roosevelt. It's about the Spanish-American War, which is something that most Americans have forgotten about. And, like most American school children, they remember the Maine.
Right.
And they don't know that nothing happened.
No, it was all fake.
It's bullshit.
Or a hoax, as Donald Trump
said. It's a hoax.
It's
totally.
A hoax. It was a hoax.
Yeah. Yeah. The Spanish didn't blow up the Maine.
There's a historical marker in Havana Harbor. It's like right there for everybody to see. I took a picture of it when I was there.
This is where it happened.
This is where it happened, or where it didn't happen.
I love those kind of markers. I haven't been, but apparently there's a video in I guess is it in Saigon or in Ho Chi Minh City or in Hanoi, but where the monk set himself on fire. And there's a continuing video loop on the monument depicting that act, at this intersection.
Wow. Right.
Very cool. Very weird. But all right. Well, that does bring us to the end of today's program. So thank you, John, as always. We will be here again, 9 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. We're here Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock Eastern. Please follow, and share the show. Thanks for your generous donations and for your support.
Thank you.
TMI show with me and Manila Chan coming right up. If you're on Rumble, you don't have to do anything. You'll roll right into it. If on YouTube, you have to go make a little bit of an effort and do a search. Just do TMI and Ted Rall. You'll find me. Anyway, thanks, everyone. Thanks, John. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Ted. See you tomorrow.
Bye.